Want a place to come chill and just talk about Azur Lane? Consider joining my Discord server, link in the description below. Hey guys, welcome back to another Azur Lane video. Today we're going to be covering the brand new event Upon the Shimmering Blue featuring the first ever UR destroyer Shimakaze. With that being said, let's go and get into it. As with every event, we have some brand new skins introduced in the skin shop. Of course, we have two new live 2D skins for the brand new ship Shimakaze, and of course the very spicy and controversial Lamalin skin. There's a couple of other bunny girl skins for both new and old ships, and a couple of old skins are now permanently available, such as Shokaku's Amazing Live 2D. With this event also comes a new dorm set called the Manjuu Summer Festival. Honestly, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of Japanese-inspired dorm sets already, so this is just another one to go and add on. And once again, we also have some brand new gear skins available for purchase for either 2,000 event points in the event shop over here, or for 7,000 gold over in the general shop. This time around, the gear skins are very nice, and I really do want a couple of these whale shells. That's all. As you may have noticed, there's also a new tab with this little octopus icon over here. If you go and click that, you are directed to the floating Funland. And at the floating Funland, there is a brand new minigame called the Salvaging crew over here. And all you have to do is use the claw to go and catch anything other than the submarines for points. So for instance, if I were to go and catch whatever the heck that is, I would get some points. And then after that you can go and quit, and if you do this for 7 different days, you can go and get some extra rewards over here. Also, every day in the missions tab over back here, you will find that there is a daily mission, I already did it, that will go and get you something called construction material, and you can go and use this construction material to go and level up 4 of these different buildings over here. And for a suggestion, I would highly recommend leveling up the Manjuu Wave Rider first, as it increases the XP that your ships gain from basically every single stage by 5%. It's really nice for the PR grind. With this event also comes a new portrait frame. For those that didn't know, you can go and obtain this portrait frame by maximally breaking all of the new event ships over here. Once you do that, you will get some of these portrait frame points over here, and once you collect enough, you can go to the event tab here, and to this tab down here, and you can go and claim your portrait frame. In order to go and equip it, you can go and click the top left corner, then click on style, and equip your portrait frame. As with every event, as you accumulate event points, you'll receive some rewards. This time the prize for 10,000 points is going to be none other than the new ship Yamakaze, so be sure to go and grab her before the event ends. There is also another minigame as well in the event tab called Luck of the Draw. In this minigame, you get 2 tickets every day you log in by completing a mission over here, and you can use these tickets to go and spin the wheel, and you get a prize for doing so. It's fairly straightforward, and that's really all there is to it. So I got a blue ball, and there you go. I got a prize. Now for the Upon the Shimmering Blue event shop guide, if you aren't planning on farming B3 or D3 and also haven't gotten her from the gacha yet, be sure to pick up at least 1 copy of Chikuma over here. She's a pretty good heavy cruiser, so be sure to go and get at least 1 copy of her from somewhere before the event ends, or else you'll miss out on her for a long time. The next one may be pretty obvious, but I'd also highly prioritize getting the event Rainbow Torpedo. It is definitely worth the 10,000 event points that it costs, as it has extremely high damaging torpedoes, and it is amazing for nuking bosses when playing on manual. Of course, the torpedoes do travel very fast, which is why you are recommended to go and play on manual if you are using these torpedoes. For the rest of the items, it is the usual recommendations. Be sure to go and pick up the normal and rainbow PR blueprints, as they save a ton of time on the PR grind. The purple general parts are always welcomed, and you can never have too much oil and gold if you're ever running low on them. The gold cap boxes are pretty nice to go and have, and if you really want, you can go and buy more gear skins over here too. Now for how to farm Upon the Shimmering Blue, like many other events, I would first prioritize finishing up D3 if you can in order to unlock the SP stage. Doing the SP stage once per day will go and get you a nice 800 event currency over here, the chance to get the super rare event ship Chikuma, as well as the chance to go and get some Ryusei blueprints. After this, I would recommend farming D3 if you would like, in order to go and get, once again, the chance to go and get the SR event ship Chikuma, which I cannot get, and some more Ryusei blueprints, which are the best converging torpedo bombers in the game right now, and they are great for dealing high damage to single targets such as bosses. You can also farm D2 as well if you would like some golden Barracuda blueprints. These are overall a very solid torpedo bomber with a great reload stat, although there are a couple of better options currently in the game. For our first ship, we have the first ever UR destroyer, being the other ship from Azur Lane Crosswave, Shimakaze. Unlike my luck with Shinano and especially New Jersey, I actually pulled Shimakaze very early on my 30th pull, which is a godsend. Thank you, Azur Lane. Back to Shimakaze though, she is also voiced by Saori Hayami, who for example also voices Ayaka from Genshin Impact, so that's very nice. And finally, of course, as you may expect from the first UR destroyer, she has very impressive stats and skills. For her stats as a torpedo-focused destroyer, Shimakaze has the new highest torpedo stat in the game out of all destroyers at 608 torpedo stat at level 120. She also has above average health, evasion, and reload, and in addition, she has a massive 170% torpedo weapon efficiency, which to put in perspective, Ayanami Retrofit only has 165%. So finally, she actually also has a double preloaded torpedo when she is limit broken. At her second limit break, she gets one, and at her third, she gets another. So just like Ibuki, she gets a massive amount of burst damage at the start of battle as she has 2 preloads. On to Shimakaze's skills. For Shimakaze's first red skill, whenever she fires her torpedoes, Shimakaze also fires a special barrage with a slashing attack as well. Any enemies hit by the slashing attack will take 8% increased damage from Shimakaze for 3 seconds, and they will also be inflicted by a flooding debuff, causing them to take extra damage over time. For Shimakaze's second skill, at the start of battle as well as whenever she finishes reloading her torpedoes, Shimakaze grants herself a buff for 10 seconds that allows her to take 15% less damage and makes her deal 12% more torpedo damage. She also increases the vanguard speed by 3. Finally, for Shimakaze's last skill, she increases her own accuracy by 15% and decreases her own damage taken by torpedoes by 10%. And in addition, as well as Shimakaze is afloat, she shoots a supporting barrage in any fleet that she is not in 30 seconds into the battle. And finally, if that fleet that Shimakaze is not in also has 1 or more destroyers, she increases their torpedo stat by 10% until the end of battle. Overall, as you may expect, Shimakaze is a very strong destroyer, especially for boss fights, as her torpedo damage is through the roof, and is great for nuking bosses with her double preloaded torpedoes. Do your best to go and try to get her before the event ends. I'll be rooting for you. On to our exchange shop / map drop reward, we have a new super rare heavy cruiser being Chikuma. She is a pretty good torpedo focused heavy cruiser, and for her stats she has average HP and firepower, but has actually the second highest torpedo stat out of all heavy cruisers in the game, only losing to Ibuki. For her skills, her first skill is a literal essay, so I'll go and try and break it down. At the start of battle and every 20 seconds afterwards, Chikuma decreases her own speed by 5% and also launches a special seaplane barrage. Now if any enemies are hit by the seaplane part of this barrage, they will get their speed decreased by 30% for 5 seconds. In addition, there are also 2 other effects that can happen. First of all, if a Sakura Empire carrier is in the same fleet as Chikuma when she fires her barrage, she has a 50% chance to inflict a debuff that will make your enemies take 6% more damage from aircrafts for 8 seconds. Secondly, there is also a 100% chance to go and inflict one of the following 3 random debuffs for 10 seconds onto her enemies. She will either decrease all of their enemies' evasion by 10%, decrease their accuracy by 10%, or decrease the enemies' damage dealt by 10%. In addition, Chikuma actually has a second skill too. Whenever Chikuma's speed is decreased as a result of her own skills, she actually increases her evasion rate by 10% for the duration of the decrease. She also just flat out takes 20% less damage. In addition, whenever Chikuma takes damage, there is a 70% chance to decrease her own speed by 10% and instead increase her reload, firepower, and evasion by 20% for 7 seconds with a 10-second cooldown in between activations. Chikuma is a pretty strong ship. She's actually capable of dealing some pretty okay damage with her high torpedo stat, as well as a couple of the buffs that she gets from her skills. She is also fairly tanky because of the evasion rate increase and also the damage reduction from her skill right here, and she also provides pretty good support with her skill over here. I would highly recommend leveling her up, so be sure to go and get at least 1 copy of her somewhere before the event ends. On to our final super rare ship of the event, we have Katsuragi. For Katsuragi's stats, she has average stats in every category. For reference, the Idolmaster ship Chihaya Kisaragi actually has better stats than Katsuragi in every category. Onto Katsuragi's skills. Her first red skill increases her own accuracy by 15% and also she launches an additional airstrike whenever she launches an airstrike. After this, for 8 seconds, she also decreases the accuracy and reload of all enemies by 15%. For Katsuragi's blue skill, she increases her own max carrier detection gauge by 15 and decreases her own damage taken by aircraft by 10%. In addition, if there are 3 Sakura Empire ships in the Vanguard as her, Katsuragi decreases the damage taken of aircrafts by 10% for all Sakura Empire ships in the same fleet as her. Honestly, since I think that Shimakaze and Chikuma are both insanely powerful, I feel that Azur Lane had to go and balance out the Sakura Empire by giving them at least one bad SR ship in this event. But they really did do Katsuragi dirty. She has average stats and pretty subpar skills, but of course if you do like her, feel free to use her. On to the first of our elite ships of the event, we first have Umikaze being a destroyer. She is commonly referred to as Mini Perseus as they both share a similar pose. For Umikaze's skills, her first skill increases all destroyer and light cruisers' accuracy and torpedo crit rate by 10% as long as she is afloat. For Umikaze's second skill, whenever she launches her torpedoes, she increases her own evasion by 15% and decreases her own torpedo damage taken by 15% for 10 seconds. That's all. Next up we have our point accumulation reward being Yamakaze, another elite destroyer. For her first skill, she increases her own firepower and ASW stat by 15%, and she also increases her own damage dealt to submarines by 20%, but increases her damage taken by submarines by 5%. Finally, if there are 3 vanguards when the battle starts, she increases her own torpedo stat by 10%. For Yamakaze's second skill, she increases the torpedo stat of all destroyers in the same fleet as her by 15%, which does not stack with similar skills. Overall, Yamakaze might find some niche use if submarines ever become a problem, but even then we have Cooper for that, so who knows. Finally, our last ship to cover in this event is going to be Yura. She has a sexy ghost lady stand in the back of her and she is a light cruiser. For her skills, her red skill increases her own firepower, anti-air, and ASW stat by 15%. In addition, at the start of battle, if there is a Sakura Empire destroyer afloat in the Vanguard fleet, every 18 seconds she targets the Vanguard ship with the lowest percent of HP left and heals her for 3% of HP, which can actually activate 4 times per battle. Instead, if there are no Sakura Empire destroyers present, she increases her own torpedo stat by 15%, and with a 70% chance every 18 seconds she can fire a special barrage. Secondly, her second skill increases any Sakura Empire destroyers' torpedo and reload stat by 10% and anti-air by 20%. Yura is definitely a usable ship, but there are a bunch of other ships that provide better buffs and support already out there. With those ship reviews finished, that will bring an end to this Azur Lane Upon the Shimmering Blue event guide. As always, if you found this information helpful, consider dropping a like and subscribing. Don't forget to press the notification bell for my future uploads as well. Feel free to leave a comment if you had any questions that need to be answered and I'll try my best to reply. If you're interested, you can always join my Discord server in the description below if you need any advice or just want a place to relax. That'll be all for this video, so I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!